a 4-part series that we are kicking off today. My name is Perry, and I am the owner of Perry Fit Foodie, where we implement a strategy called Body Transformation Blueprint. And within this program, there are 4 key pillars that we highlight: metabolism, meals, movement, and mindset, all to help clients lose weight, shed fat, and tone. And today is week 1. So we are going to be going live every single Wednesday for the next 4 weeks as we highlight each pillar to help you lose weight and shed fat naturally, without GLP-1s, without cutting carbs, and actually quite the opposite, because tonight I'm showing you how to make my puff pastry pizza that I love, and it's gluten-free, while we talk about metabolisms, because this is one of the key subjects that most people completely ignore when it comes to their weight loss and fat loss goals. A lot of people, when they go into weight loss and fat loss mode, they think about cutting calories, moving more, eating less. How can I lose as much weight as possible? And they're not spending adequate time boosting their metabolism before weight loss and fat loss and after weight loss and fat loss so that they can actually sustain their results. So tonight, we're making gluten-free puff pastry pizza together as we talk about all things metabolism. And if you don't know me, my name is Perry, and I've lost 40 pounds naturally using the same strategies that I've coached my clients doing over the past 7 years. So I'm not no 20-year-old influencer doing this thing for the first time because I happen to lose weight and like, oh, boom, I'm a coach now. No, I have been working in the health and fitness space for 10 years now. I've been coaching clients, hundreds of them, male and female, for 7+ years now. And now I focus mostly on coaching women to lose weight, shed fat, build muscle, tone, boost their metabolisms, all without GLP-1s, cutting carbs, fasting, or doing psychotic fitness challenges. And today we're talking about metabolisms as we make pizza. So let me pause here because this pizza has been my literal favorite to make, gluten-free pizza. And yes, it is puff pastry. So Sweet Loren's has a pie crust puff pastry, and they have a pizza crust. I recommend buying the puff pastry. Okay, so we're going to start there. And one of these pizza things, it's a puff pastry, but it's a pizza crust in my house. It's usually 6 servings, but I end up eating 2 servings for myself, and then my partner will eat 4 servings for him. So what I end up doing is I'll cut off like a third of it for me, and he gets the other half. And that's how we do it in my household. So with that, let's talk about metabolisms as we build our pizza. And I'm going to teach you how to do this at the same time. So we'll see how my focus is. But I am going to be weighing everything so that I know how much is going into my serving. He gets whatever, so he just gets the whole spiel. But I want to talk about why metabolism matters. So if you're here, if you follow my page, you probably want to lose weight, shed fat, build muscle, tone. Maybe you've heard me talk a lot about metabolism because, spoiler alert, I do, because it's really important. And like I said in the beginning of this video, a lot of people are so focused on how many calories they're eating and what workout burns the most calories, but they're completely ignoring their metabolic health. And I don't know about you, but a lot of people think that their metabolism slows down as they age. They feel like as they've gotten older, creeping weight gain just comes in, and they're feeling body fat in places that they've never felt it in. And they feel like anytime they eat more food than usual, let's call it when they're going on a trip or a vacation, they gain weight so easily. And maybe you're at a point in your life, maybe you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, where you notice that what you used to eat before, somehow you're eating the same thing or you're eating the same amount, and yet you're gaining weight and you have no idea why. You don't know where it's coming from. You haven't really changed anything. You're still working out, so something's not clicking, right? So there's a few reasons why that can happen. And if you're someone who eats healthy and works out, maybe you still have a social life too, hopefully, right? Friendships are always good where you're going out to eat or going on vacations and stuff like that. That can happen, yes. But what's usually happening is a lot of women specifically are skipping meals. They're surviving on their kids' leftovers. They are running out the door with a protein bar in their hand. And if we're being really honest, a lot of women just aren't properly fueling themselves. They're not eating regularly, right? So what ends up happening is your metabolism is really smart and it will adapt. So if your body is used to eating 1,600 calories and you've been doing that for a really long time, guess what's going to happen? Your body adapts. So whenever you go into weight loss or fat loss mode, you've been eating at 1,600 calories and you're not quite sure what to do next. Maybe you want to drop down to 1,200 calories. Your metabolism is going to be like, hold the phone. That's a deficit. And from 16 to 1,200, like, where are you going to go from there if you plateau after a month? There's not a lot of room to go, right? And so the metabolism is really important because not only does it determine how many calories you're burning, but it also is going to determine what your body does when you try to go into weight loss and fat loss mode. Your metabolism also plays a big factor in building muscle. And guess what plays a big factor in your metabolism? muscle. And so when you factor in all of these things, your metabolism is definitely an important part of your weight loss and fat loss journey. And so if you're just concentrating on how many calories to eat or how many macros you should hit or whatever the hell else you have going on in your head, like what workout you should do, you're really ignoring like a big piece of the pie, which is your basal metabolic rate and your NEAT. So you've probably heard of these terms, BMR, your basal metabolic rate, that's how many calories your body is burning just to be a human. Like I was just talking about this with my clients on a coaching call, you know, to go to sleep, to grow hair, to have a cycle, to move your arm back and forth. Like that's basal metabolic rate, the things that your body needs to function as a human. Your NEAT is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So that's everything else that you're doing in the day that has nothing to do with exercise. So we're talking about me standing here cooking. We're talking about you doing laundry, you doing chores, going to get the mail. That's NEAT, okay? So your BMR and your NEAT take up 70 to 85% of your total calorie burn. So if we're looking at those two things alone, people think that a workout is the most important thing. Like, oh, but this workout is burning 600 calories. This is what's important. I worked out today, so I deserve the ice cream. But the workout itself doesn't actually burn that much. I think exercise in general is like 15% of your total caloric burn. It can be like 15 to 20% of your total calorie burn per day. That's not a lot. The rest is your BMR. That's your like basal metabolic rate. That is your metabolism plus NEAT. Okay, that's everything else you're doing, like getting the mail and stuff. So when you're going into weight loss and fat loss mode and you think that calories are the most important thing, or that if you got your workout in, that's the most important thing, it's not, because your basal metabolic rate is actually one of the most important things paired with your NEAT, whatever else you're doing outside of working out. So that's why your metabolism is such an important factor in not only losing weight, but being able to maintain your progress long term. So whenever I am looking at a client and helping them transform their body, losing weight, shedding fat, toning, all of that jazz, I want to first look at how can I increase their basal metabolic rate? Because that's what, 70 to 85% of your total caloric burn. Like, why aren't we starting there? Why are we starting with workouts? And why are we starting with how many calories you're eating when we should be starting with your metabolism? Like, that's your engine. That'd be like that. Okay. Do you remember Pimp My Ride back in the day? That'd be like pimping out your ride, having this amazing car, all the bells and whistles, but the engine sucks. Like, you can't drive that car anywhere. What's the point of that? Also, we're making pizza. If you can't tell, I layered on sauce and I didn't have enough sauce. So I actually used some Greek yogurt as a part of the sauce. Little hack. Not only does it add a little bit of extra protein, but it's creamy. So if you like a white pizza, I love to add a little bit of non-fat Greek yogurt to my sauce. Why not? And then obviously like drizzles of garlic and stuff. So anywho, increasing your basal metabolic rate should be a non-negotiable. That should be like, oh, let's fix the engine first, because then weight loss is going to be way easier. And also, like, don't you want to be able to maintain it on the back end? The answer is yes. So we should be increasing basal metabolic rate and NEAT overall. So then the next question is, okay, you're like, all right, Perry, that sounds great. How do I increase my BMR? Well, that's something that we focus on in Body Transformation Blueprint. And one of the ways we can increase your BMR is building muscle. And I know a lot of people know that. They're like, oh, well, I'll just do strength training and eat some protein. But in order to build muscle, you need to have specific amounts and types of food in your system and for a specific period of time. So it goes well beyond just eating protein as I get this protein out. So pause here, because one of the things I love about making this pizza is it's kind of a free-for-all based on what you have in the fridge. And I've been trying to defrost chicken breast for 3 days now. It's still frozen in the fridge. So whenever I have a moment where I'm like, crap, I don't have any protein prepped, what should I do? I always have some of this like healthier processed protein, which I know it's still processed, but things like meatballs or pepperonis, or sometimes I'll do those like air fryer chicken bites from the freezer section. And I saw these at Costco the other day and I figured I'd give them a whirl. They have 14 grams of protein per serving, only 8 grams of fat. The ingredients are like pretty good. So I'm going to do some of these, even though they're chicken and maple, like it's going to be good on pizza. You know, we like a little sweet moment, and I'm going to drizzle some hot honey on it anyways. So this is going to be really good. So we're doing chicken breakfast meatballs on the pizza. But a lot of people think that if they want to build muscle, they just can strength train and eat more protein and it's going to work, right? But there's so much more that goes into muscle. Today, we're talking about metabolism. So in 2 weeks, we'll talk about muscle. So I'm not going to go into that too much more. But if you want to increase your BMR, one of the ways you can do that is building muscle. So if you're going to the gym and you're hitting the treadmill, you're doing the elliptical, you're going to fitness classes, you are taking yoga sculpt, you're burning and churning in those HIIT classes, like that's great and all, but cardio is not going to give you the biggest bang for your buck as it relates to boosting your metabolism. Building muscle is. And in Body Transformation Blueprint, we obviously have a lot of strategies that we use for building muscle beyond just eating protein and strength training. There's way more that goes into it. I'm not going to get into that today because today we're talking about metabolisms. But if you have to choose between a cardio class and strength training, you're going to want to do strength training because strength training is going to give you a bigger bang for your buck as it relates to your metabolism. The other thing that people have wrong as it relates to their metabolism is they think that because they're getting older, it's slowing down. But that's not the case. And one of my clients, she knows who she is if she's watching this, she said it beautifully the other week. She was like, I feel like your metabolism is a moving target. And she's absolutely right, because if you think about it, you can slow your metabolism down over time, which also means that you can increase your metabolism over time, which is such a good thing. And a lot of people say, oh, well, it goes downhill as you age. But that's just not true. We know that. You can speed up your metabolism just like you can slow your metabolism down. And spoiler alert, a lot of women who have slowed their metabolisms down because they're taking the HIIT classes, they're skipping meals, they're not getting enough protein, they're cutting carbs, they're cutting calories, they've been on a diet since they were 16 years old, eating salads and opting for lettuce wraps, that's going to downregulate your metabolism. So these are all factors that we have to consider. And as a 38-year-old who has lost 40 pounds naturally, I personally am eating 2,100 calories right now, 260 carbs as a 38-year-old who's 113 pounds, okay? Let that sit for a bit. How do you think I'm able to do that? Because I have a raging metabolism. In fact, the other day, I have a post going live about this next week. I ate 320 grams of carbs in one day as a science experiment because I'm 3 weeks out of a bodybuilding show. Like, I'm fueled, babies. I'm fueled. And it's all because I have a raging metabolism. And when you have a raging metabolism with more muscle mass, you can eat so much more food without gaining weight. So not only can you lose weight easier when you have a faster metabolism, you can also maintain your results easier. So this whole like, oh, I have to figure out what diet I'm doing and what exercise I'm doing. You just learned that exercise is only like 15 to 20% of your total calorie burn. So like, again, why are we not focusing on the engine that's going to rev everything up and make weight loss and fat loss easier and more sustainable, aka your metabolism? So obviously I could talk about this all day long, but I do want to get into a few signs on how you know your metabolism has slowed. So I talked about this before. A lot of women are notorious for undereating. Like, sorry, women, but we just are. I'm not. I eat all the time. But as women, they undereat. They eat like little birds. They have small serving sizes, or you know how it is. You'll wait until the end of the day. You realize you haven't eaten since breakfast, and breakfast was a protein bar and some coffee, and you're starving and you're hangry. And now it's dinner time and you're going rogue in the kitchen, eating everything. Hi, Christina. If you're joining us, we're making puff pastry and we're talking about metabolisms. So women have a tendency to undereat. They have a tendency to skip meals. They have a tendency to be good and order the salad. And oftentimes they are malnourished. They're not getting the amount of calories they need, protein they need, etc. And this can actually happen to men too. I'm actually coaching one man right now, just one. I used to coach more men back in the day. I'm primarily more females, but he came in eating like 2,000, 2,100 calories as like a 6'4" male. And I was like, homie, you know I'm eating more than you as a female at 113 pounds, and you're 6'4" male eating the same amount as me. Like, there's something wrong with that story. So this doesn't just apply to females. Men can undereat too, and they can slow their metabolism because of that. So what are some signs that your metabolism is slow? Well, number one, if you've been eating at a lower calorie count, that's a sure sign. And we're talking about like a couple of months at a lower calorie count, or maybe even a couple of years. And if you're not quite sure if you fall into that category, what I would recommend is logging your food for a month. Like, give it a month. And don't do it just when you feel like it. Do it when you actually like, yeah, it's good to do it when you're home. Hold on, let me turn the oven on. It's good to track your food when you're home because obviously you know what you're putting in your mouth because you're there and you have the food and you can see the label. If you're out eating at restaurants, sometimes you might be guessing. That's okay. Restaurants are typically going to be higher calories. So I do recommend logging your food for a month and seeing what your current intake is. If your current intake as a female is between, let's say, 1,200 and 1,600 calories, girlfriend, you undereating, okay? Your metabolism is probably adapted to that level, which means if you went into weight loss and fat loss mode, it wouldn't really work too well because you've been undereating for a really long time. And I think you know this, like, remember back in the day when we were teenagers, if you're a millennial and we were in college and they're like, oh, your body's in starvation mode. Like, you've heard of that term before. Your body thinks it's starving. Well, that's not like the full story, but it is true that your body goes into conservation mode. And you've probably also heard of the whole thing, like your body is holding on to fat because it thinks it's in danger. Like, ladies, this is so true. That's why it's really important to increase your calories and increase your baseline before going into weight loss mode and after weight loss mode. So that's something I'll be talking more about next week on Wednesday at 5:30 when we get into meals. But that's one of the core main signs, warning signs that your metabolism has slowed, is that you are eating at a lower calorie count the majority of the time. The other sign that your metabolism has slowed is that you have low energy, you're always cold all the time. And I know females are cold all the time, like our extremities are usually cold. But if you're cold all the time, your metabolism's probably in the dumps. Another thing that is a warning sign that your metabolism has slowed is creeping weight gain. So I actually experienced this a few years ago when I had surgery. I had mold toxicity. I was going through a busy period of life. If I start crying, these onions are just really rapid right now. And I had creeping weight gain. I ended up gaining like 20 to 25 pounds over the course of about 3 years. I was also in a new relationship. I was sitting in my desk chair working a lot, more sedentary, again, had surgery, all these things, right? Creeping weight gain got me. But guess what also got me? My metabolism had slowed. I was eating not enough food. And my metabolism basically adapted at that level. And I ended up gaining all this weight. And since then, I've lost 40 pounds naturally. You can check out my story on my feed. But that's a sure sign that your metabolism has slowed, is if you have creeping weight gain as you've aged. And a lot of people, again, think they're getting older. I'm gaining weight because I'm getting older. But that's not the case. It has to do with your metabolism and your activity, and obviously what you're eating or not eating, or how you're working out or not working out. There's a lot of factors. But if you've noticed creeping weight gain, that's another sign that your metabolism has slowed. The other good big sign that your metabolism has slowed is if you feel like you're doing everything right and the scale is not moving. So let's say you are watching your serving sizes, you're trying to be mindful of your serving sizes, you are exercising more, you're eating less, all of the classic dieting things, and nothing's working. And you're like, I don't understand. I'm eating healthy, I'm working out, I'm doing all the things, and it's just not working. Well, girlfriend, that's your engine, right? That's your metabolism that we need to correct and fix. And if you're just now joining us, we're making gluten-free pastry pizza as we talk about metabolisms. This is basically ready. So as you can see, super easy. I just topped it with my sauce of choice, toppings, cheese. I did onions and those meatballs. I did some garlic and some seasoning. I'm keeping these pretty simple tonight because I don't have the energy to like be all crazy with other things. But those are some signs that your metabolism has slowed. Now, you're probably like, okay, if my metabolism's slow, like what do I do about it? Because if I'm already eating healthy and I'm already working out and like, I don't understand, I'm doing all these things right, like what can I do? Well, there's a few things that we do inside a body transformation blueprint to boost your metabolism. One of them is taking a look at your nutrition beyond eating healthy, because healthy eating is so vague. It doesn't take into consideration your total calories, how much protein, how much carbs. There's so much that goes into boosting your metabolism, and it's not just about eating more protein. I'm so sick of all the marketing about protein right now. I could vomit. It's so annoying because that's not the only thing that matters. But one thing you can do is focus on your nutrition. And in Body Transformation Blueprint, that's exactly what we do. Because my number one goal for all of my clients before we start going into weight loss and fat loss mode is to boost your metabolism through a custom nutrition program. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you exactly what to eat because everyone has different preferences. Some people have food sensitivities. Some people are on an anti-inflammatory diet. Like, you do you. If you want to be pescatarian or vegetarian, that's okay with me too. But I will put you on a custom nutrition plan where you have goals to hit to boost your metabolism ahead of fat loss and after fat loss. So that's one thing we can do to boost your metabolism, is focus in on nutrition. And as we already discussed, women have a tendency to undereat. They have a tendency to skip meals. They're not properly fueling themselves with carbs and protein and calories that they need to tell their bodies that they're safe again. Because remember, if your metabolism's down regulated, it probably thinks it's starving, okay? It's going to hold on to body fat, not let go of it. So eating a specific way is going to help to boost your metabolism. The other thing that we talked about in the beginning of this video is building muscle. So a lot of women are taking too many fitness classes, if I'm being honest. Pilates just is not the vibe, okay? I know fitness classes are fun. I took them for 8 years. I also ran 2 half marathons. That's not going to change your body, okay? Strength training is going to change your body. But again, it goes beyond just strength training and eating protein. You got to be making sure that your form is on point, your alignment, your tempo, your intensity. Are you eating enough food to actually build the muscle? How's your recovery? I talked to a lady yesterday who was working out 6 days a week, and she was eating 1,300 calories. And she's like, I don't know why. I'm hitting a plateau in the gym. I can't get stronger. I'm working out 6 days a week. I'm eating whole foods. I'm eating 1,300 calories. And I'm like, whoa, 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 hold the phone. You're working out 6 days a week and you're eating 1,300 calories? Girlfriend, you don't have enough food to build muscle. I don't even know how she's training. I would have to look at her. That's why we do things like training video review within my program, where my clients will submit a few videos a week and we take a look at their form, their tempo, their intensity, make sure their mind to muscle connection is there. But also you need proper food to build muscle. And that's a big area where so many women are getting it wrong because they're doing all the right things on paper. They're eating healthy and working out, but they don't have the components they need to actually build muscle so that they can then shed fat. So you can see how this is like a cycle thing where it all loops together and they all interact with each other. So in Body Transformation Blueprint, building muscle is one of the most important things that we focus on, and we do it through specific custom training, whether at home or at the gym, and through specific nutrition to support it. The other factor that we can include when we want to boost the metabolism is increasing your NEAT, right? Because we just learned that your BMR and your NEAT consist of 70 to 85% of your total calorie burn. So if we can increase NEAT, that's everything else you're doing out in the world, folding laundry, going to get the mail, standing up, cooking, cleaning, whatever. How can we increase your NEAT? Well, we do that through a step count goal. And I know some women are like, well, Perry, I get 10K steps in a day. That's great. But if you've been doing 10K steps forever, where are you going to go from there when you want to lose weight? Like sometimes your body needs a rest. And what I often find is the women who are doing their 10K steps a day and they're closing their Apple rings and they're checking their boxes, usually they're doing too much and their body actually needs to recover more. And maybe you might be overtraining. So it's all individualized. We have to take a look at the person as a whole. If you can't tell, I'm making side salads. Really simple. I have these cute little salad plates that I found at a thrift store for this China set. I'm obsessed. And this is the perfect little side salad. We didn't even use these for a while. And then I discovered them last week and we've been eating side salads since because they're just really cute. And it's like the perfect size. Anyhow, one of the things we focus on in Body Transformation Blueprint is step count goals. But we don't just tell you to hit 10K steps no matter what. Like this is your step count goal. We dial steps up and down strategically during specific periods of time and also based on how your body's responding. So every client in my program has a different step count goal. Like nobody's doing the same thing. They're all at different parts of their journey. And so if you're trying to figure out how many steps to do, that's something we focus on in my program. And that's also more in the movement category. And I'll be covering that in 2 weeks. So increasing your NEAT is one of the ways you can boost your metabolism along with building muscle and eating in a way that's going to support that. Okay. Beyond just protein and strength training, because there's more than that. Okay. The other thing that I want to mention is, did you know that muscle burns 3 times the amount of calories on your body in comparison to fat? So if we're looking at someone with 10 pounds of extra muscle on their body, they're burning 3 times as much calories as someone who doesn't have as much muscle on their body. And so, you know, when you look at like those jacked dudes and they're like huge and they can eat whatever they want and you're like, what the hell? They can eat whatever they want. But how do you think me as a 38-year-old who now weighs 113 pounds, entering my first bodybuilding competition, got 6-pack abs, I'm eating 2,100 calories, 260 grams of carbs a day. How do you think I'm able to do that? Because I have more muscle and my metabolism is boosted. So if you're someone who wants to eat good food and still hit your weight loss and fat loss goals and be able to maintain your results long term, like I'm literally 3 weeks out from a bodybuilding show eating like a freaking queen because I built muscle and I boosted my metabolism. And this is where so many women go wrong because they're so focused on weight loss. And instead of revving up their engine, aka their metabolism, they're just focusing on how many calories can I burn. It's like, instead, you should be focusing on how can I boost my metabolism and how can I build muscle. And both of those things require very specific strategies. So if you want to burn more calories, you need more muscle. And again, well beyond strength training and eating protein. This is exactly also what I'll be talking about on August 11th. So if you haven't seen, I'm going to be hosting a live masterclass on August 11th. It's a Tuesday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And we're going to be going through all 4 of these pillars. This is just the tip of the iceberg for metabolism. So if you're ever curious about learning more about how you can boost your metabolism so that you can lose weight and shed fat and tone, you're going to want to tune in, as I always say, to that September event. And if you want to register, just DM me RSVP. I'll send you the link. It is a live private event, so you need to RSVP for it. But those are some of the ways that we can boost our metabolism, okay? Now, I want to talk about why we want to boost the metabolism before weight loss. And I talked about this a little bit earlier in this live. Why would we want to boost our metabolism before fat loss and weight loss? Like, again, women are so focused on what workout is going to burn the most calories and how can I like eat less and move more instead of revving up their engine. And I use that Pimp My Ride example because it's like, you can have, this is also like the whole Botox and highlights. And it's like your outside appearance can look so good, but if your engine inside sucks, no amount of working out or eating healthy is going to do anything for you. It's like the Pimp My Ride example. You can have the best looking car in the world with rims and all the bells and whistles, but if their engine sucks, it's not going to drive anywhere. So we have to boost your metabolism before weight loss. And then also, let's say you lose 20 pounds. How are you going to sustain your results? Well, we got to make sure your metabolism's boosted on the back end too. And again, if you want to eat like a queen, like me, where you're enjoying tons of calories and carbs, we got to make sure your metabolism is boosted before, during, and after weight loss mode. Okay. So that's why it's not a simple equation of calories in, calories out. You got to focus on increasing your metabolism. And one of the things that goes into that is increasing your baseline. So we talked about how women undereat a lot, right? If you're trying to go into a calorie deficit and you think that you're at 1,800 calories and you're going to deficit at, let's say, I don't know, maybe you drop your calories to 1,400. You're like, this should work. I'm in a deficit, right? Wrong. Because if your metabolism is in the dumps, no amount of cutting calories or working out more is going to work for you. Because again, this goes back to that engine, right? It goes back to your engine. If your engine's not functioning properly and your body is in literal starvation mode, no amount of eating healthy and working out is going to work for you. And if you're a female who's tried to eat healthy and work out and you're calorie deficiting and you're hitting your steps, preheating an oven, we're going to put the pizza in, and nothing is working, hey, maybe let's try to nurture and boost your metabolism. Don't you think that would be a better idea? I do, right? So I had a client, I actually featured her on a YouTube video. I had a client who came in to work with me. She was an old client from 5 years ago, and then she came back after she had a baby. She's like, I need some help. She was eating 1,100 calories a day as a 4'11" female, 37-year-old mom of 3. I know her well. I've worked with her twice now. And she could not lose weight at 1,100 calories. She's like, Perry, I'm 4'11". Like, this should be a calorie deficit. You know, I'm eating 1,100 calories. She was strength training. Like, nothing was working. Guess what we did? We increased her calories up to 2,600 calories, or it was like 24 to 2,600 calories. As a 4'11" female, 37 years old, she ended up losing 16 pounds. 16 pounds. I'm not even kidding. Before we even reduced her food, she lost 16 pounds, going from 1,100 calories up to, it was 24 or 2,600. I think it was 24 for her. That's wild. But do you know why that happened? It's because we boosted her metabolism. Like, she couldn't lose weight because her body was in literal starvation mode. And this happened to me too. So like, let's think about it like this. The more muscle you build and the higher your basal metabolic rate, the more NEAT you have, the more non-exercise activity thermogenesis, you're a calorie burning machine. Like, I turn my clients into calorie burning machines. And this happened to me last year in September. I lost 5 pounds accidentally while eating 2,300 calories a day. Okay. 2,300 calories a day. I accidentally lost 5 pounds. And you're like, well, Perry, maybe you were doing other things. Like, no. I track my food. I know my shit. Like, I keep my shit in tight. Like, I hit my protocols, you know, there wasn't anything extra going on. I accidentally lost 5 pounds. How? Because I was technically in a deficit at 2,300 calories, which means my maintenance was at like 2,500 calories. How does your maintenance get at 2,500 calories when you're 120 pounds, I was 37 years old? It's all because of metabolism. Like, you got to boost your metabolism so that you can become a calorie burning machine. Super important, not only before weight loss, but after weight loss as well. Which takes me to my next point. So when you are losing weight and you're like, this is great, I've lost weight, I feel wonderful. But do you know how many people can't actually sustain their results long term? Like, have you ever met someone, maybe it's you, where you feel like you're losing and regaining the same 10 to 15 pounds your whole life? You're like, I don't understand. I've been losing the same weight and then I just regain it back anytime I eat. Or maybe you lose the weight and then you go on vacation, it pops back. Or maybe you go on Whole30 or some kind of extreme diet where you cut carbs and blah, blah, blah. And then the moment you eat regular food again, you just gain it back. Like, I did that my entire 20s. I would lose some weight, gain it back. Try all the fad diets, lose the weight, gain it back. And the reason is most women have no idea how to boost their metabolism after fat loss phase is over. They have no idea how to do that. And what happens is, let's say you were deficiting, we're calling it deficiting, you're calorie deficiting, you're cutting carbs, you're doing all this activity, but where's your off ramp? Because most people will do like Whole30 and then there's like no reintegration period at all. Or you'll do a calorie deficit, you'll cut carbs, you'll cut calories, and then there's like no reentry into the world. You're just like, oh yay, lost 10 pounds. Then you like go back to eating restaurant meals, or you go on vacation, you eat pizza again, which by the way, we're making pizza, and boom, you gain the weight back. Like, where's the off ramp? And so one thing we focus on in Body Transformation Blueprint is making sure that you're not only set up before weight loss and fat loss, during weight loss and fat loss, but also after weight loss and fat loss, because it's not just about sticking with the habits that you've built and like continuing with your healthy lifestyle. Like, yes, that's important, but we also need to do certain things to make sure your metabolism is boosted on the back end. Otherwise, no amount of effort that you just did is going to help you sustain your results long term. And again, this is well beyond just like, oh, are you slacking on your healthy eating habits? Like, well, yeah, you should be like doing things in your life that are going to help you out, like exercising and walking and all that jazz. But at the end of the day, you need a strategy for after fat loss. Otherwise, it's never going to stick. And this is where a lot of women go wrong, because they don't have a strategy for after. I also did an experiment last week, 2 weeks ago. If you've been following me, I am entering a bodybuilding competition. I'm 3 weeks away. And my coaches and I are playing around with carb and sodium intake. And they wanted to see what my muscles looked like at 320 carbs. And I have a post going live about this next week. I ate 320 grams of carbs in one day, and my weight basically stayed the same. And I actually looked better the next day. And we did an A/B test, controlled everything, home cooked meals, tracked everything, even down to my salt we tracked. And we took a look at the photos and the scale to see how my body changed. And I looked better after eating 320 grams of carbs a day. And again, how is this possible? Especially after I've lost 40 pounds, I now weigh 113 pounds as a 38-year-old, six-pack abs, bodybuilding competition, eating 320 carbs, and you're telling me that you didn't gain any weight and you looked great the next day? How is that possible with so much more carbs and salt compared to the day prior? It's because I have a boosted metabolism, and we leverage carbs during certain periods to help you build muscle and shed fat way easier than anything you've ever done before, I'm sure. So when you have a fiery metabolism, all this stuff comes way easier because you're focusing on the right thing, which is driving that engine up. You're trying to rev up your engine so that weight loss and fat loss is not only easier, but you're also able to sustain it long term without GLP-1s. Because come on, GLP-1s are just an appetite suppressant. My clients and I are over here eating like queens. Like, we're trying to eat, okay? We like to eat. I ain't here for like the least amount of food. No, that sounds so boring. I would rather eat as much food as possible. And I had another client too that I onboarded, and she was like, Perry, I want my maintenance calories to literally be at like 3,000. Like, I want to be able to have so much freedom and flexibility with trips and vacations, and basically be able to eat whatever I want without the fear of gaining weight. And how do you think we do that? We do that because we boost the metabolism. So if you think that your metabolism is stuck, it's not. If you think your metabolism has slowed as you've aged, granted, that could be true. It might have slowed as you've aged, but it's not stuck there. It's only stuck there because of the things that you're doing. We call those your inputs. I always like a lot of fresh cracked black pepper on my salads. It like gives it that spice. It's so good. Your metabolism isn't in the dumps because you got older. Your metabolism's in the dumps because of the inputs you're feeding it, aka how you're eating or not eating, how you're moving or not moving, what you're doing on a daily basis to either rev it up or slow it down. I'm not saying it's your fault, but it's the things you're doing or not doing, and that's what I can help you do. Not only repair your metabolism, but also boost it from years of being damaged and slowed. So that's what's going to make your results stick long term. Now, the pizza's going to be ready in like 3 minutes. So maybe we just yap a little bit about what's next, because this is going to be a fun series. So I'm going to be going live every Wednesday for the next 4 weeks, you and me here. And I'll be teaching you more about the 4 pillars inside my custom program, Body Transformation Blueprint. So over here, we do not do fad diets. We don't do quick fixes. We don't do GLP-1s. We don't need peptides. We don't need supplements. You don't even have to do protein powder, to be honest. It's not necessary. I think the whole world is like so fluffed up on marketing. You don't need any of that. We literally do the basics. It's called eating strategically and exercising strategically for your goals. Like, that's it. It's really freaking easy here. No crazy things. And we focus on optimizing 4 key pillars that make a big difference: metabolism, meals, movement, and mindset. And again, this is where so many women go wrong, is they're so focused on, well, how many calories do I need to eat? And what kind of workouts do I need to do? Like, how much better would your life be if you didn't have to have the mental load of figuring out what the heck you needed to do to reach your weight loss and fat loss goals? Like, how much better would that be for you? Because I imagine that if you didn't have to try to guess and Google and figure all that out on your own, you would probably A, make a lot more progress, and B, not be so like butthurt trying to figure out what you needed to do to lose weight and shed fat, to just be disappointed that you didn't get the results that you wanted. You know what I mean? Like, I compare this to hiring an expert. If you had a leak in your roof, you would never get up there and Google and try to fix your roof. Like, if you're a grown woman who's career oriented, highly driven, you most likely have like a housekeeper. You like hire an expert to come over to help you with maybe your lawn, or maybe that's your hubby. Maybe you have someone that comes over to fix the toilet. Like, why are you trying to be the expert at your own body? You know what I'm saying? And one of the cool things you can do is join my live masterclass event on August 11th. It's going to be on a Tuesday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. I'm going to go through all 4 pillars within Body Transformation Blueprint so that you can learn how to lose 15 plus pounds in 90 days naturally. And if you're like, but Perry, I don't really have 15 pounds to lose. I just like want to tone. I want to tighten. I want to build muscle. I want some like abs. I want some toned arms. Yes. Okay. I usually help 2 types of people: the people who have 15 plus pounds to lose, and the people who want to tone, tighten, and strengthen. Same type of people. One's weight loss, one's tightening, toning. It's the same thing. We're going to boost your metabolism so you become a calorie burning machine. We're going to dial in your nutrition strategy so you can eat like a queen and enjoy all the foods that you love, still see the results that you want. We're going to build muscle so that you can actually sustain your results and shed fat at the same time. How amazing. A lot of my clients lose 1 to 3 pant sizes. I've lost 40 pounds. I went from a size 6'8" to a size 0. I'm an extra small now. That's insane. That's wild. I lost 3 cup sizes in my bra, which was so wonderful. Could avoid surgery there. And honestly, like the women over here are just feeling really good. So if you want to learn how my clients are losing 15 plus pounds in 90 days, toning, tightening, and strengthening, you're gonna want to tune in. So DM me, RSVP to reserve your spot, and it'll be a 90-minute masterclass where we're going through the 4 pillars of body transformation blueprint, how I help my clients lose weight, shed fat, and tone. I'm doing non-fat Greek yogurt as the ranch dip for the pizza. And then we'll also be talking about how I work with clients and how I can potentially help you. The even cooler part is we're going to have time for 30 minutes of live Q&A at the end. Last time I did this event, I stayed on with people for 45 minutes to answer their questions. And I was like, hey, where are you struggling? Like, let's have a little chat here. So you not only get to learn all of this information for free, but you also get to ask me anything and everything at the end to make sure that you're getting the most optimal strategy on how you can hit your weight loss, fat loss, and toning goals without the freaking GLP-1s, all right? We don't need those here. We're trying to build sustainable bodies that can last, but with results you can actually see and feel. And yeah, I like bowls in my house, so. Anyhow, you want to pull out the pizza? We can see how it looks. It's been about 12 minutes. I usually like to do like a little broil sesh at the end, but let's check it out. And then of course I do a little hot honey. Oh yeah, this totally needs a little bit of a broil, but I want to show you before we head out. So I'm going to broil the top and do a little hot honey drizzle. And I always salt and pepper my pizza because I like it seasoned, but I did use some seasoning. So anyhow, that's my gluten-free puff pastry pizza with 2 beautiful side salads, non-fat Greek yogurt ranch dip for the pizza, duh. And yeah, I hope to see you on Tuesday, August 11th at 5 p.m. Mountain. I will be here next Wednesday, same time. I don't know, maybe we'll be making something else. Maybe we'll be doing something. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But we're going to be diving into meals, all things nutrition, next Wednesday, live here at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And it's going to be fun. So come on over. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned all the things about how to boost your metabolism so that weight loss, fat loss, and toning doesn't have to be so hard. Okay? I'll see you next week. But more importantly, I'll see you on August 11th. Bye.